Alright, this is the first chapter. I want to talk about the pathway of uric acid accumulation. As you know, gout is a result of too much uric acid accumulated in the body. So in this chapter, I will give you an idea, give you a clear picture where does the uric acid comes from and where does it go out and where does the excess uric acid store or hidden. Right. First of all, alright, let's take a look. So this is your stomach. Okay, this is your stomach. This is where you eat in those high protein or high purine food, and then it's broken down. The whole tract is a digestive tract, and then it's broken down into smaller particles, and then absorbed into the bloodstream, and it goes to two places, two major organs, All right. The first one is your kidney. The first one is your liver. And then liver, because the food, so-called high uric acid food, is usually high purine. It's the purine that goes into the bloodstream. When there's too much purine, it will send to the liver. The liver will break it down to uric acid, and then go back to the bloodstream, and then go to your kidney for removal if there's too much uric acid. To remove, this is your kidney. Right? Sorry about the drawing. Just you get the idea. Alright, this is the liver. This is kidney. Right. This is the standard pathway. So you take in too much purine, the purine will be sent to the liver break it down, and then break it down into uric acid, and then the uric acid sent to the kidney, and the kidney you pee out the uric acid. That's it. But if you take it too much of high purine food or high protein food, or there's a problem with your liver or kidney in processing uric acid, there will be a lot of uric acid accumulated in the bloodstream, and it's too high, the body will find a way to get rid of them temporarily. So where does it go? So these are the cells in your body, your muscle tissues, so this is the organs of the cells. We call this area is interstitial fluid. All right, and if too much uric acid, they will sip this acid. They will start sipping into this area we call interstitial fluid, and then eventually it reaches a place which is where gout attack happens. This is your joint. Right, this is your joint, and this is the fluid inside the joint. So this is where, and then there's another place where uric acid like to hide is underneath the skin. So this is your skin. So all right, these are the layers of cells. Right. So you get an idea, right? All right. So this is how the uric acid goes. So naturally, it's supposed when you have too much purine, it's sent to the liver, the kidneys. But if your intake of purine food is too much, above the capacity of the liver to process or the kidney to process, the excess uric acid first will be stored in the bloodstream, and then when the parking is full, there's no more space for it, and your blood cannot accept, because if too much uric acid in the bloodstream will affect the pH of the blood. When your pH of the blood drops lower below 7, which is neutral, you will have a lot of problem, because the enzyme in the body needs certain pH to work in optimal level. So your body will find ways to get rid of the uric acid or to hide the uric acid. This is where does it go, and so it sips through the interstitial fluid until it reaches here, and then if the concentration is too high, it reaches the saturated point, plus the drop in temperature, then crystallization happens, and your body assumes this is a foreign substance, and it launch attack. This is what happens, and this is called gout. This is the gout attack. And there's another place when this level, usually I don't know why, but it seems like there's a way the body is selective of the location to hide the uric acid. So first they would like to hide the uric acid inside the joint. inside the synovial fluid. And then when the packing is full, there's too much, you have many times very frequent gout attacks, which means there's no more space to absorb uric acid anymore. Then the uric acid will deposit here underneath the skin. And then eventually it will form a lump. It will form a lump. You form a lump called tophi. Usually this is a later stage. First you will experience many you have to go through many rounds of gout attacks in order to reach this phase. But try not to reach this phase. Alright. Another concept I want you to know is the input and output idea. Alright. This is okay. Imagine this is, because now you know where your body hides the uric acid, right? Okay. These are the location is your bloodstream, your interstitial fluid, your joint, underneath the skin, and part of it go to the liver. Actually, it doesn't store here. It means this is the pathway. So the main storage is the blood, interstitial fluid, and the joint. So in the sum, in the lump sum, it's called a tank, a uric acid tank in the body. All right. So I hope you can see. All right. This is your. Imagine this is your uric acid tank. All right. There's two major output. One major output, which is the kidney, and then this is. Imagine this is the tank. This is a uric acid tank in your body, and this is the safety line. This is the This is the all right. This is the healthy level. This is the safety level. I mean, this is your uric acid level, which is tolerant. All right. This is the tank, and then where does the uric acid come from? So the main input is food. Fruit, from what you eat. Actually, there's another source of uric acid or purine is from, we call the internal source of uric acid is called DNA. Because every day there are millions cells die in the body, and the nucleic acid or the DNA will be broken down, and it contains purine, and this is the internal source of purine. But mainly it is the input is from the food, and then the output is to get rid of the uric acid. All right, this is the uric acid. This is the uric acid. The pathway to get rid of it. The first one is the kidney. Right, this is the major one is the kidney. The major one is the kidney. And another pathway to get rid of uric acid is through the intestine. Intestinal tract. All right. So this is the input. All right. The input, I would say, right, contribute to the percent in terms of percentage. Input versus output as a cause of hyperuricemia or accumulation of uric acid. So the input problem contribute to 90%. Contribute 90% to the cause of gout or cause of hyperuricemia, and output contribute only 10%. So, in other words, because once your uric acid, this is a safety line I mentioned. This is the tolerable level. Once the uric acid accumulation or concentration above this level, crystallization happen and gout happens or tophi form. Alright, your objective is to keep the uric acid level low. So either by reducing the input or improving the output. As you can see, output only contribute 10% of the factor of having gout. So generally it's negligible. Usually it's not the main cause, and a main cause of the problem, because for a healthy person, as long as your liver works well and your kidney works well, then you will get rid. You can get rid of the uric acid properly or effectively. But unless you have taken some medicine or some medical complication that cause your kidney loses the ability or is not so effective in getting rid of uric acid. So because the output slow down, then the uric acid accumulate until it can cause gout. So this happens to be the case where for people, they told me they do not fancy meat, they do not fancy seafood, they do not fancy nuts or beans, but they still have kidney. No, they still have uric acid gout problem. So these type of cases, the cause high possibility is because of the output problem. So, but back to here is the problem is the input. You have high uric acid accumulation in the body because you take too much food. This is because modern life is too good. Meat is everywhere. Everyone loves to eat meat, which is the main source of uric acid, and drink beer, alcohol. So food. But the question is, because it's easy, food, the input problem is easy to deal with. Because DNA is negligible because it's a cycle. That's why you still have actually the purine recycle inside your body. So, but the main factor for the input factor is from the food, right? The problem is if you have gout, then you go to see doctor, and doctor say, oh, you need to reduce the consumption of meat, you need to reduce the consumption of alcohol or beer. But even if you do that, there are many cases, it's quite common, they do that, but the gout's still there. The reason is stopping the consumption of high purine food only reduces, stop the addition of uric acid, but it doesn't remove those already stored here and here, especially here. So it doesn't remove those already stored here. So just by abstaining yourself from the high purine food, it won't solve your current gout problem. It will still attack because this deposit is there. The problem is, the main factor is you need to get rid of the existing uric acid. You need to get rid of that. How? So and I will talk about that in the chapter 4 on how the uric acid, how the current medical solution fail in addressing this problem. They only reduce the pain, or they just block the river from producing new uric acid, which is I call cheating. I will talk about that in chapter 4. All right. That's all for now, and let's move on to the next chapter, which I will discuss about gout black box. Right? Thank you.